They said I'd cracked under pressure. They whispered I wasn't built for the boardroom. They told everyone I gave up. But they didn't see the all-nighters. The silent mornings. The trembling fingers rehearsing in empty rooms. They rewrote my story before I had a chance to live it. Called me weak. Said I should stick to support roles. Said I didn't look like a leader. He laughed out loud while I stood in front of the projector. I still remember the sound. Sharp. Public. Humiliating. But then something shifted, and the one person who mattered most stood up. My name is Jordan Rivers, I'm 29 years old, and I live in Austin, Texas. And this is the story of the day I took my power back. I was supposed to be the golden child. Top of my class. National Honor Society. Early admission to Northwestern. Everyone assumed I'd go corporate, suit, salary, corner office. My mom used to say, my son's going to be a VP before 30. And for a while I believed it too. After college, I landed a job at Stratex Dynamics, one of the most competitive tech firms in Chicago. Fast-paced. Elite. The kind of place where everyone had a personal brand and a LinkedIn post ready at any moment. I joined as a strategy analyst under Blake Sanders, a sharp-tongued manager with no patience for hesitation. Deadlines felt like grenades. One missed cue, and you were the next casualty. 3 months in, I stopped sleeping. 6 months in, I stopped smiling. By the 9th month, I had my first panic attack in a bathroom stall with my tie halfway off. HR called it adjustment stress. My dad called it toughen up. My sister whispered, he's just taking a break. At Thanksgiving, no one asked how work was. They just didn't talk about it. When I eventually transferred to the Dallas branch, less prestige, fewer eyes, it felt like exile. No send-off. No, you'll be missed. Just a quiet reassignment to the Southern Satellite office, where the conference room coffee was always burnt, and ambition felt like a dirty word. That's where I started over. But no one noticed. The Dallas office didn't care about Ivy League degrees or startup lingo. People clocked in, got things done, clocked out. And I disappeared into the background. I wasn't leading anymore. I was assisting. Scheduling meetings. Pulling data. Making decks for other people to present. But one morning, barely a week in, our office manager, Maya, came to me in a panic. Jordan, the VP from HQ, is flying in next week. We need someone to build the pitch deck for the regional presentation. Can you do it? I said yes before I could second-guess myself. I spent the next 6 nights crafting something clean, human, clear. Not flashy. Not loud. Just real. But that wasn't the spark. The spark came later. One afternoon, as I was helping Maya run a dry tech check for a local nonprofit event in our space, an older man hovered at the back of the room. He was tall, African-American, maybe late 60s, wearing a dusty navy suit that looked like it had witnessed civil rights marches. He pointed at the projector, clearly lost. This machine hates me, he muttered. I chuckled. Don't take it personal. These things hate everybody. I showed him how to connect his slide deck, how to share a video, how to toggle audio. He looked at me like I had just handed him a golden key. Later, as we watched the community meeting unfold, he leaned over and whispered, "You brought my baby into my living room. I've been trying to show her this speech for weeks." I just nodded. Didn't say much. Didn't need to. That moment didn't make headlines. But it mattered. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was part of something, even if no one else saw it. After that first pitch deck, Maya kept sending more projects my way. I wasn't technically part of the strategy team anymore, but word got around that I had a way with structure. By month 3, I was quietly leading behind the scenes. I streamlined onboarding materials for new hires, created visual dashboards for client updates, and developed a storytelling framework our entire region adopted. Then came ClearPitch, an internal template I built over a weekend. It blended storytelling techniques with business metrics. Simple. Fast. Adaptable. It spread like wildfire. Within 6 months, 5 regional offices were using ClearPitch to structure their internal presentations. I ran 2 workshops for the Houston and Denver teams. By year-end, ClearPitch had cut presentation prep time by 40%. Even senior managers were quoting my slides. We weren't just growing. We were becoming known. Our client engagement increased by 27%. We onboard over 400 new small business clients across the South. Our net promoter score jumped from 58 to 73. Still, when I went home for Christmas that year, none of that mattered. At dinner, my uncle asked, "So, you're still working in Dallas?" I nodded. My cousin, smirking, said, "Teaching old folks to click buttons? Real noble work." My dad chuckled, not cruelly but with that tone. That you'll figure it out tone. That you're still finding yourself tone. Even my mom, gently, added, "She's always been the free spirit," referring to me in third person as if I wasn't sitting right there. I wanted to tell them about the numbers, about the workshops, about the email from the Denver manager who said my system helped her reclaim her weekends, about the startup founder who asked if we had room for a consultant. But I didn't, because I knew they wouldn't understand. Not really. To them, success looked like titles and offices with windows, not impact metrics on a spreadsheet or regional workflow optimization. So I stayed quiet, smiled, told them work was going fine. But inside, I was changing. I wasn't looking for applause anymore. I was building something that worked, something that helped, even if it didn't look like a promotion. I didn't need validation. I just wanted to keep going. The Dallas regional team had never presented directly to HQ before. But that quarter, thanks to our numbers and systems, we were selected to open the National Innovation Summit, a big internal conference held in Chicago. Executives, partners, investors, and yes, the CEO himself. Maya approached me 2 weeks prior. "Jordan, you're presenting the clear pitch work. Front and center. No question." I blinked. I thought Jeremy was. He was. "But you built this. The data's yours. The structure's yours. And your voice that connects." I worked nights and weekends. Rehearsed in front of mirrors, empty rooms, echoey stairwells. I rewrote the opener 14 times. Still, when I stood backstage at the summit, clicker in hand, slides queued up, I felt like that intern again. The one who was laughed at in front of a room full of suits. And speaking of laughter, right before I walked on stage, I heard a chuckle behind me. Wait, they're letting the assistant present? It was Logan. Yes, that Logan. From New York. Same smirk. Same dismissive tone. He hadn't changed. Or maybe I had. I didn't respond. Just adjusted my mic and stepped onto the stage. The lights were hot. The room was still. I took a breath. "Good morning. My name is Jordan Hill. 2 years ago, I was designing pitch decks for other people. Today, I want to show you how we changed the way 400+ businesses across the South tell their own stories." I walked them through clear pitch. How we started. What worked. What failed. How senior citizens in a tech workshop helped us think differently about clarity. How a small idea turned into a scalable structure. How stories, not just stats, drive decisions. I didn't rush. I didn't perform. I just told the truth. When the final slide landed, the room was still quiet. A beat of silence. Then applause. Polite at first. Then louder. Then, I couldn't believe it. Standing ovation. From the front row, the CEO stood up and clapped. Maya was in tears. Jeremy high-fived the guy next to him. I caught Logan's face as I stepped off stage. Mouth slightly open. Arms crossed. Speechless. Later that afternoon, during a mixer, a woman in a charcoal blazer tapped me on the shoulder. "Are you Jordan?" I turned. "Yeah." She smiled. "My dad doesn't stop talking about you." I blinked. "Sorry, who's your dad?" She pulled out her phone and showed me a photo. It was him. The man with the dusty navy suit. From the non-profit event. He says you're the reason he could finally show us that speech. We didn't even know he recorded it. He'd been trying to figure it out for months. I felt something in my throat, tight and warm. She added, "He said you didn't treat him like he was dumb. You treated him like a partner." That meant a lot to him. I managed a small nod. "Thank you. That means more than you know." She leaned in closer. For a long time, he thought no one saw him. But you did. And now everyone's seeing you.
I didn't know what to say.
Not because I demanded attention, but because the truth walked in by itself and refused to stay quiet. The summit was over. Back in Dallas, life resumed, emails, team check-ins, metrics. But something had shifted.
Quietly.
A few days after the presentation, I got an envelope. No return address. Inside was a handwritten note. Proud of you. Always was. Mom.
Just that.
Not a call. Not a text. But the kind of softness that had once felt extinct in our relationship. Then my older brother, Evan, the one who used to say, "Just get a real job already," sent me a LinkedIn message. "Heard about the summit. Guess you're the real deal now. Let me know next time you're in town. Dinner's on me."
I didn't screenshot it.
Didn't print it. I just kept it. A quiet win. No parades. No magazine covers. Just quiet respect, showing up like sunlight through blinds. What meant most, though, wasn't the applause or the note or even Evan's message. It was that I no longer needed them to feel whole. The fear, the self-doubt, the hunger to prove something to everyone else. It had melted away. Because now, when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see someone pretending anymore. I saw someone who had built something real. From scratch. From pain. From persistence. And I'd done it not by chasing their approval, but by chasing the work that mattered. It wasn't pride. It was peace. That kind of peace doesn't announce itself. It just sits with you, steady, quiet, complete. If you've ever felt like your voice didn't matter, if you've ever stood in a room and watched someone laugh at your dream, then this story was meant for you. Because sometimes the world won't clap until it sees someone else do it first. But that doesn't mean your work isn't worthy. That doesn't mean your truth doesn't deserve to be heard. You might be building something no one understands yet.
Keep building.
You might be the punchline today. But tomorrow? You might be the reason someone else dares to stand. And if you're watching this, I want to hear your story. Where are you from? What dream are you quietly working on, even when no one's looking? Drop it in the comments. Someone out there needs your voice. Maybe that someone is you. Thank you for being here. For choosing growth. For honoring your quiet victory. More stories are coming. Until then,
keep rising.
Even if no one's clapping yet.